Hi, Mace. Welcome back. It's Mary Lynn at Heartwork and creating the impactful legacy. And I really hope you enjoy my guest today is Michael, and I'm going to let him introduce himself and you go ahead, Michael.
And thank you, Marilyn. I appreciate it. It's funny. My name's always been mispronounced, so I don't even notice it anymore what it is. It doesn't bother me, insult me, anything, right? It's been called everything. And it's ironic because I grew up in South Florida, such a Latin community. You'd figure that it was easy to pronounce because it's Italian and it's really close, right? So
Right.
it's Michael Padurano. And I'm sure I'm even pronouncing it wrong. So that's fine too,
Yeah.
right? I'm a little too Americanized now. That's what happens second generation. It's Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're
And
welcome. I was just going to say, Michael and I were having this conversation and I said, oh, we should be recording this. So I hit record. So Michael, maybe you could just tell a little bit about how you got started doing what you're doing, and let's carry on our conversation that we're talking about building community.
yeah, I mean, I can go back to the beginning, right? I mean, I was
Yeah.
adopted at birth and I was abused by my mother, and I always felt abandoned and had tremendous abandonment issues. And by 9 years old, I went into drinking. By 12, I was doing hardcore drugs to numb it all out. I'm spiritually gifted. I embrace everything that I am completely today,
Mhm.
which I'm 42 and a half, and it took me 42 years to figure out, or 40 and a half, I should say.
Yeah.
I've also been sober over 15 years, 15 and a half, almost 16 years. And I didn't do any of the emotional work until 2 years ago. So, I mean, I wasn't sober, living free, clear. I was sober, miserable as shit, right? So
Yeah.
we are what we choose to be, right?
Mhm.
And I didn't know any better. So
Right.
that was part of it also. And because of my childhood, I had an issue with therapists and psychologists, and because
Yeah.
my mother dragged me to all of them, and then dragged me to neurologists to try and prove I was crazy. And at some point, they looked at her and said, he's a really special kid. You really need to do something. And then her attitude flipped to, now you're just underachieving. So it went from, I'm going to beat you down, to you're underachieving. And that's the story of my childhood, right? So there's
Yeah.
a lot of those swings, right? Like I never knew who I was until the
Mhm.
last couple of years. And 2.5 years ago, I got evidence that my children were being abused, or a little bit over, about 2 years ago, actually, February 19th of 2020. And I jumped in the car, drove to Arkansas from South Florida, and started fighting for them.
Mhm.
What I didn't realize was when I started fighting for them that I was going to have to do healing myself also, right?
Right.
Because it just triggered the abuse that I had as a kid and ignored. And that's how my healing journey started.
Mhm.
I just chose to do it in a public forum, and you can go look at my YouTube and see a 40-year-old man crying half of the day, laughing half of the day,
Yeah.
all over the swings. You can see the transitions that I've made over the course of the 2 years. It's really miraculous because I actually love life today.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean I'm overly happy being on this planet sometimes, but I do love life. And building community, I mean, is where I'm going to take it back to now, right? And
Yeah.
it started, I always had a network, right? A very
Mhm.
large network. I've spent years building it
Mhm.
globally, done many different things in many different industries, but I never really built community or relationships because I didn't trust myself. I didn't
Mhm.
love myself. I didn't think I
Mhm.
was worthy, right?
Right.
So as I'm on the healing journey and I start healing these pieces of myself, and I start putting myself back together in an emotional way. Now the spiritual stuff kicked into high gear, obviously, because I was fixing the emotional, and
Mhm.
then physically started coming together also in lots of ways. I did lose weight and was eating healthier and came off a lot of my medications, and life just shifted tremendously for me.
Right.
And as I started feeling better about myself, I really started looking at what was I doing,
Right.
right? And it's about me,
Mhm.
because it's not like these people said to me, "You're not good enough. I don't want to talk to you, but I want you in my network."
Right.
Right? This was completely self-identified as, I'm not worth it, so I'm not going to build a relationship.
Right.
So as I started healing that, it became, let's build relationships.
Mhm.
And community to me it's so much deeper than just commenting on someone's post. It's so much
Right.
deeper than just liking someone's content. Every connection I make, I offer to have a call with them. Every
Right.
single one. And I have over 26,000 contacts, I believe,
Yeah.
on LinkedIn alone. And I've offered that to every single one
Yeah.
to have a conversation, and whoever schedules, right? Like
Yeah.
that's beyond me.
Yeah.
But I
The
always
offer is
wanted,
there.
right. I always wanted,
Genuine offer is there.
yeah. And people say, well, what do you want to sell me? And I'm like, nothing. Like,
Yeah.
let's just talk. Let's,
Yeah.
how do I know how I can help you if I don't even know who you are?
Right.
And people get scared by that also. Well, what do you want if you're going to help me? And I gotta tell you, like,
Yeah.
I want nothing. I just want to help you. Like,
Yeah.
however I can help you, right? And
Yeah.
you know, because I did my journey on the public forum between LinkedIn Lives and Facebook Lives and on my YouTube channel, people are kind of intimidated by me also because I'm so transparent. Like I shared details that nobody else would, right? I talk about the abuse, the shame, the blame, the guilt, having crying sessions, going through cases of Kleenex,
Right.
even during COVID, which was hard to find, by the way. But I did. And, like that's the journey. That's the real journey, is healing ourselves.
Right.
And I think the core of community is to heal yourself and understand yourself at a depth that you can build real bonds.
Right.
And I think that's a lost art today. I think everybody's so hooked on instant gratification. Everybody's so hooked on, oh, I can text you and you have to answer right away, or I can send you a message on LinkedIn and have access to your whole life. And
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, you have access to the digital life,
Yeah.
right? But you don't have access to someone's life.
Yeah.
Right. And until somebody opens that door. And what I've learned is by me opening the door first, it helps others feel comfortable to open the door as well.
Right.
So through my vulnerability and transparency, it helps others to be inspired to do the same in return.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love, we've talked before about your project that you're working on right now, and that's really, it unfolds the community, developing the community. And like you were saying, you got to heal yourself before you can be really any good to anybody, really, right? Much less yourself.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? We're in a society that it's easy to blame, it's easy to shame, it's easy to point a finger.
Yeah.
But until we're ready to look at ourselves, nothing changes.
Yeah.
And we can be in relationship after relationship. We can be in situation after situation. We can be in business deal after business deal. But if we don't heal these wounds, heal these traumas in some shape or form, it's going to come out in every aspect of your life.
Right.
And at some point, you're going to get scared because I have paranoia and this person's going to screw me over. Well, why do you believe that? Right.
Yeah.
I believe that because I have abandonment issues and I didn't trust anyone. Right. Like that's why I believe it. So until I started trusting myself, none of it mattered. And that's just my personal journey, right? And then there's people that I've been working with for years now, and there's people that have been helping to guide them on this path, and that I've coached and that have had enormous results and everything else, which is one of the reasons I'm, like you said, created this company, this venture. It's aligning teams. We are creating events for HR and executives to participate in, where they are going to go through a immersive journey. It's going to be focused on true DEI, true diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we are going to cover many topics, and we're going to take them on a 4-day journey where it's top caliber food. It's amazing top of the line food. It's based on all different areas of the world. They're going to be able to experience the world's food without leaving the venue. The venue is a 285 to 290-year-old venue. And in the US, that's beyond old, right? Like that's old for the US. Europe, I mean, they have stuff thousands of years old. We can't catch up with that.
Is it going to be like a residential retreat, or is it just every day people come?
No, it's going to be full. It's going to be fully inclusive. So it's a workshop. It's a workshop / retreat, right? Because it has this hybrid format.
Right.
We're going to be covering stuff like adaptability and KPIs, vulnerability and leadership, detoxifying people pleasing, journey to the never normal. So topics that are traditional in HR,
Right.
but then we're going to take other topics
Right.
and we're going to mix it up a little bit. Like, example, our opening dinner that first night when everybody's still strangers, we're going to have a blindfolded meal talking about true diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's my belief that the only way we can have that is by being blindfolded, a
Right.
blind candidate pool, because then any unconscious bias, any difference in equality, women get paid less than men, black get paid less than white, Latino gets paid less than white. But if you
Right.
don't know these identifiers, then
Right.
you have to pay them all the same, right?
Yeah.
It naturally creates equality. It naturally creates value within that person. We're treating people for the people that they are, not how they either present themselves, how they come across, their differences, whether it's gender, no matter what it is, right?
Yeah.
And it gives the opportunity for everyone to have an equal chance, and
Yeah.
also hire the best person for the role.
Right. Yeah.
You
Even
know?
so that they don't see the color of their skin or
Anything.
anything. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you don't know their religion, you don't know
Yeah.
their sexual orientation, their sexual identification, you don't
Right.
know any of these things, right? You don't know ageism. Are they too young? Are they too old? You don't know these things.
Yeah.
But you're forced to talk to them like a real person
Right.
from a place of vulnerability and your truth, which then helps them to feel more comfortable about being who they are. And then I would challenge the participants to go back to their organizations, try it out once, and
Yeah.
even try their first day on the job, blindfold their teams that they're going to.
Right.
Because then the teams will have the same experience with this new person.
Right.
And the new person will have this experience with the teams. Because, we all have bias. There is
Right.
bias for every one of us.
Yeah.
Right? Like, tattoos aren't a big deal like they were 20 years ago. But, a while ago, it was, oh my God, you have tattoos. How can you be professional?
Right.
I mean, what does that have to do with it? It's an expression. Like, you're saying, that's like saying if you're wearing this t-shirt, you can't be intelligent. Like, I mean, I live in t-shirts, so I think I'm decently intelligent. Maybe not the smartest person in the room, but I never want to be. And this event is so unique and so different. We're doing a Middle Eastern style lunch, and it's going to be talking about honoring and empowering others' voices, valuing people's voice. We're going to be doing a Japanese style dinner, traditional, and we're going to be talking about leading with intuition and ikigai, right? We're going to be doing, what else are we doing? Fondue lunch, which is going to be focused around self-love. This fondue's fun, right? I mean, you have chocolate and cheese, you have cheese and apples, it's like tons of fun. Like, I mean, why can't that be self-love?
Right.
We all want to have that fun stuff in life. And it's going to be really an opportunity to really break down some barriers that we have within ourselves.
Right.
And to look at ourselves and break the walls of perspectives that we live in. And be able to look at things from an objective point of view. It's very hard to live our life and look at things from an objective point of view without any type of influence into that. But we're going to help break that down because, you feed bellies, you feed souls, and you feed hearts all at the same time. And that's what we're doing. A lot of it is done that way. And then you have the traditional workshop stuff. And then we have the little breakout rooms where everybody's going to get a chance to test EMDR and try it out. Everybody's going to get a chance to try energy therapy, frequency stillness practice, meditation, and all these different things they're going to be able to actually do and feel themselves. Right. And then they're going to, and then
sort of like bringing them home.
Yeah, it is.
Bringing everybody home.
It is. And, keep in mind the facilitators that are there the whole time, and they're participating also.
Right.
So it's not like they're coming, just doing their thing and leaving. They're part of the group. So the ones that aren't facilitating that specific piece of it are part of everything else. So it's really unique. It's something that I've been told has never been done before, which is one of my specialties. And, thinking outside the box and doing things that have never been done. And we want to just open those doors, right? And we're going to create a ways that there's follow through so that everyone that participates has access to everyone else that participates, while
Mhm.
also having access to all the facilities.
Mhm.
So it's going to be a private group that they'll be able to take back with them to their real world, and they'll always feel supported, and they'll have that support, right? The bonds that were created will still be
Right.
there.
Well,
But you
because
can't,
it's such an intense experience, right? That when you're together, that you
yeah,
have that bond with everybody that was there, whether you speak to them or not, you have that instant bond, right?
it's it's funny, right? Like we
Yeah.
never realize how much we can bond with someone in a few days.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, sometimes it takes one conversation, right?
Yeah.
But I also look past where I'm at today, and I look past, just who I am as a human. And I look at the spiritual side of life also, and
Hmm.
for me, it's easy to bond fast with people. It's easy to trust people fast. It's easy to build really deep relationships right from the start
Right. Yeah.
because I'm willing to go there. I
Right.
trust my.
Right. Because of all the work you've done on yourself, now you trust yourself and you're ready there to support others on their journey. Right.
Yeah, and the work never stops. So let's not
Yeah.
pretend, right? Like this is a daily journey, and
Yeah.
this is continual evolution, right? Like I'm completely different than where I was yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm completely different than I was 6 months ago. Like
Hmm.
we can't pretend that we're the same person every day. Because if we are,
Yeah.
then where are we going? Right? Stagnation leads to moving backwards.
Right. Well,
It
I
brings
don't
us
know if you
back
can go
to.
backwards. Can you?
I think backwards is funny, right? Because I don't think there is a backwards.
Yeah.
When I say backwards, like falling into my old patterns of behaviors, right?
Hmm.
Which would be avoidance, which would be going back to gambling, going back to escapism into TV, going back into my old addiction to porn, going back into anything you can imagine, right?
Right.
Gambling. Just because I was sober didn't mean that I wasn't addicted to anything else I could. Like, I mean, I didn't work on myself, so it was transference of my addictions.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was addicted to being in a relationship. I mean, I had relationships with some of the greatest and worst people I've ever met, just
Right.
because I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be with myself. Are you kidding me? Why do I want to spend time with me? Right? And now what's funny
I might
is,
not like what I got.
right, and now it's the opposite. I don't even want to be in a relationship because I don't want to ruin my peace.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to be in a relationship,
Yeah.
a real
The
one.
hardest one is with yourself, of course, but then
Oh yeah.
once you get to the point that you're comfortable with who you are, then having a relationship with somebody else might be a lot easier.
For
Not to
me,
say that there's not any work, but I'm just saying that you should be able to find somebody that's in your same kind of headspace, same kind of vibe.
somebody that wants the same thing, same values, same,
Yeah.
core values, same mission, same desires in the world, same continuous evolution, right? Like, that's a big one for me. I
Hmm.
need somebody that's doing the work that wants to continue to do the work because I don't want someone stagnant. I just don't. But
Right.
again, like I'm really happy with my peace. I don't want to mess up my peace.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it's like,
That's the truth of it too. When you get to the point where you just love your life, everything's great, it's peaceful. It's like, oh, do I want to share my peace? Maybe not.
I want to share it, but if I can share it without disrupting it, then I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, because here's the thing, right? Like when you are getting in a relationship, and I don't care who it's with, this
Yeah.
isn't about a male, female, a female, female, male, male,
Yeah.
whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Like none of those things matter. But when you're really getting in a relationship, like for me, I want to understand how that person ticks. I want to understand what that person needs from me when they're at their worst.
Hmm.
How can I support them best when they're at their best? How
Yeah.
can I be that supportive, loving, unconditional person in their life? Because that's what a true partner is to me,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
And that's a lot of work and effort.
Yeah.
And it's got to be someone really special for me to have that interest because I got to tell you, that's a lot of work on my part. And I've done a lot of work on myself, and I'm not looking to do it for
Well, you had to
anyone
do
else.
all that work so that somebody could come into your life. And, and there is somebody there for you, you just,
I'm,
but you have to clean it up, your life before you can have that relationship with that very special someone that you say that you want. And I know you want that, but because you don't like being alone, but yet at the same time, you like your peace. And I understand that too. But I'm just saying, there was a guy that he was always having a hard time getting a relationship with somebody. And I says, you know what? I says, sometimes we have this big long hallway where it's empty or you feel like nothing is coming. It's because they maybe not be ready for you yet. And you have your own work to do to be ready for them, whoever that is, whatever that is, right? So you're just on your journey and you're enjoying yourself and your peace and your love. And
I really am.
yeah,
I'm at a point where I never in my life could be disconnected from the internet. It
yeah,
was irking me. I couldn't sit with myself. Now,
yeah, of
what I
course
find
not.
myself doing is for chunks of 6 to 8 to 10 hours,
Yeah,
depending on where my kids are, right? Because my
yeah,
first priority is to make sure that they're safe, they're in a
yeah,
place that whatever. But I'll just put the phone down and won't even look for it because I just don't care.
yeah,
I have no interest. I'm so happy with me.
yeah.
I really don't want to interrupt it. Like, I'm very happy. And my life's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. My life is
Yeah,
chaos because I'm a solo parent of 3 kids.
yeah,
Like there is no one else in my life or in my children's life. It is me.
yeah,
And I have a 12-year-old, a 9.5-year-old, and a 4.5. You know, it's always an adventure, right? My son was having panic attacks for 2.5 hours last night. So I had to sit with him as he was going through it and get him to calm down and center and ground and finally be able to pass out last night. My 4.5-year-old was up till 2:30 in the morning because she was having nightmares. So I was up every 15 minutes until then.
yeah,
And I start my day at 5 every day, no matter what time I go to bed.
yeah.
So it's, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I
Mm-hmm.
really wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am so satisfied with
Yeah,
my life that, you know, I just love where I'm at. It's been a lot of work. It's been a
yeah,
long journey. And you're right. I mean, at some point, the right person will come along, but it's
yeah,
not my concern today.
yeah.
And
No,
you know what it is? I stopped seeking it. That's, I think, the difference.
yeah,
In the past, it was always seek, 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 chase, chase, chase. Now it's okay. It'll
yeah,
be there. It'll be there when it comes. Just like this event, right? Like, originally it was supposed to be in February, then Omicron, and we had to push back a little bit because we wanted to make it the best that we possibly could, and we had a couple of people coming from Canada. So, like, there was things that just outside forces that we pushed it back,
yeah,
and I didn't even freak out. Like in the past, that would have drove me nuts.
yeah.
I would have felt like a failure. I would have felt like I let people down.
Right.
This time it was, it's what had needed to be done, and
Mm-hmm.
the evolution of that work on self
Right.
allows me to inspire others to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole team operates that
Mm-hmm.
way, and we all are on our healing journeys in different ways, in different places.
Yeah.
My team is a new style of leadership.
Right.
We do not have executive roles at all. What we have is a team of co-founders
Mm-hmm.
that have identified their specialties and their expectations of what they can bring to the table,
Right.
and then we just overlap. And sometimes one person's a CEO, and sometimes one person's a CMO, and someday somebody's a COO, and someday somebody's a CFO, and we all just chip in
Yeah.
and play the role that we're best at playing at whatever time is needed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's leadership,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the absence of control. It's the
Right.
absence of manipulating circumstances, right? Trying to be better than anyone else. This is a true foundation of what we are creating, is that foundation of trust and love and compassion, and we're all helping each other heal as well on our journeys.
Of course. Of course. That'll never end. It's ongoing.
No, no. And as a death doula, you would understand that. End of life doula. I apologize.
And
That was a
that's
little harsh.
okay. No, end of
That was a
life.
little harsh.
Death doula, that's about the same. End of life. Death. I just have a hard time saying death because, it's not the end.
No, it's a transition.
It's just there's another journey, off to another journey. So that's okay.
It's the
But
beginning
that's all
of
right.
the next. It's the beginning of the next one.
Yeah.
And like we said, nobody gets out of this alive. I don't care
Yeah.
who you are. Just doesn't
Yeah.
roll.
Yeah. So tell me, Michael, your group or your project that you're doing or working on right now, is that open to anybody, or who's your audience they're really trying to reach out to?
Who we're really trying to reach is executives in smaller companies
Mm-hmm.
or HR leaders.
Yeah.
Now, granted, others can participate, It's the same price for everyone. It's $7,777. So
Mhm.
4 sevens. Again, everything I do has a purpose and a meaning. And it's not a very profitable venture, but it is a very important
Mhm.
venture. And it's
Mhm.
something that is beyond meeting in this goal.
Mhm.
And what I personally believe is this great resignation word that is getting thrown around is really the opportunity for the great reinvention of work.
Right.
Right? And people are leaving because they don't feel valued, seen, and heard.
Mhm.
And it's a world of opportunity now. Like
Right.
COVID taught everybody that you can sit at home, sit
Yeah.
on eBay, flip stuff,
Yeah.
and make more money than you make at work,
Right.
or even make half what you were making,
Yeah.
but work a third of the time,
Mhm.
love what you're doing, and have a better family life or personal life or absence of family life. I
Right.
mean, but it gives you the most valuable resource, which is time.
Mhm.
If you're a work environment where I'm sending you emails all weekend long and I'm expecting you to respond, and you're a Monday through Friday employee, there's something wrong.
Mhm.
Like our expectations are skewed and they need to
Yeah.
be readjusted towards reality
Yeah.
because people are burning out all over the place.
Mhm.
Suicide rates are at all-time highs, like across all new demographics, right? And
Right.
it's scary. It's a scary world that we live in. And when somebody doesn't feel valued or safe in their work environment where they spend so much of their time,
Yeah.
they're going to look to make change.
Yeah.
And because the opportunities are out there and there's options, what
Mhm.
people are doing when they get hired, they have two more in the back burner in case week one, it's not what they were promised.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's the reality of the world we live in.
Yeah.
It's
It's
because
sort of like it's an employee marketplace. It's not a job marketplace or
I think it's a human marketplace
human
on
marketplace.
either side.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that, it's like a housing market, right? Right
Mm.
now, it's not the housing market, it's the buyer market. So it's just like what's kind of going on right now, that the buyers are the employees of the job market, or like you say, the human capital market or whatever. It's them, they're deciding. And the people
Yes.
that are hiring or the employers, whoever, they're having really hard time because they seem to think, well, they work for me, they should do this and they should do that. And whether I appreciate them or not, they should still come to work and they should be loyal and they should do this. But it's flipped, right?
Yeah,
And people saying, no,
tremendously.
I'm not doing that.
It's pretty remarkable um, how generalizing, and I'm going to generalize,
Yeah.
how the employers have always been in control, right?
Hmm.
This is what you're going to get paid. This is what the going rate is. Take it or leave it because somebody else will take it.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. It
Yeah.
completely flipped on it because
Yeah.
now people are understanding that there's something more valuable than money, which is time.
Yeah.
There's something that's more valuable, which is their own peace, their own
Yeah.
happiness, their own safety,
Yeah.
like emotional and psychological safety.
Hmm.
What are the expectations? People are starting to ask the right questions too.
Yeah.
Like they're starting to flip it on an interviewer. And
Yeah.
then, they're saying, okay, well, that's great. I answered all your questions. Now here's a suit for you. Right. Like,
Yeah.
what is your diversity? How do you have diversity? What are you looking to change? What are you looking to do? Where do you
Yeah.
see the company in 5 years? Right. Nobody likes that question as a
Yeah.
candidate. I think it's the worst one in the world personally,
Right.
because if you're looking for somebody for 5 years, then, you should hire a robot because here's the reality. When you value the person, they're never going to want to leave.
Yeah.
So if you're immediately asking me that question because you don't value me as a person, you're looking to own me.
Right. You're always looking for the outcome. What are you going to do for
Right.
me? Yeah.
Right. And this is where things are flipping. Because again, I mean, there's an app for everything. Like
Yeah.
you can be a delivery driver and make $100,000 a year. I mean,
Yeah.
the world's changed.
Yeah.
So
Well, like you
now
said with COVID too, it gave us a great opportunity to look in and see what's really important to us and what kind of life we want and what are we willing to do or not do.
yeah,
So now that the kind of the marketplace in itself is opening up, it's like everybody has that feeling, but we're still trying to deal with the old school stuff, right?
Yeah, and again, it takes enormous disruptions, right? Whatever it is,
Yeah,
to really shift things. And this was an enormous disruption.
yeah,
And now we see the shift, right? The
yeah,
shift is tremendous, and there is never going to be a new normal. It's
yeah,
going to
yeah,
always adaptability is going to be more important than ever. Opportunity is going to be more important than ever, and being seen, valued, and heard is going to be more important than ever.
yeah,
Because if you're not valued, you're not staying. I don't care what the job is.
yeah,
People
yeah,
will take less money to be valued.
right.
They want to feel safe. They want to feel appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want emails at 2 p.m. on a Sunday while they're trying to spend time with their parent that's dying, or with their sick niece or nephew, or spending
Mm-hmm.
time with their children, or even their sick children, right? Like,
Right.
they don't want to be interrupted. They don't want to be bothered with an email that demands immediate attention.
Yeah.
You want to be C-level. Well, then maybe you earn that role, because there
Yeah.
might be things that you can't control. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're not, then why are you putting a company ahead of those things in your life when they're not doing that for you?
Yeah.
And not all, because there are ones that do.
Yeah.
And unless it's fire and brimstone, there's companies that won't reach out to you on the weekends or you're off, right? Because they respect you and they
Mm-hmm.
value you and they value your time and they want you to have your time,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's building a side hustle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the opportunities, and they should
Mm-hmm.
encourage people to do better and want more in life.
Right.
Not
Right.
be
Greater
scared that if they
success.
do better, they're gonna want to leave. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's the problem. It's the
Yeah.
fear. It's all about fear.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to get rid of that fear and just love and light.
Yeah.
So with that given, Michael, how can people get a hold of you if they want to hear more about you or more about your program and how they can get involved?
I think LinkedIn is always the best way for me.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn is by far the best way. I'm on Instagram too, but I really don't do much on there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing a little bit more. Yeah, that's really the best way. LinkedIn. I mean, like,
Okay.
the more I think about it, like, it's the only app I have on my phone. It's like, I don't have social media on my phone really, other than that.
Yeah.
I do have Instagram, but it's hidden in a folder that I never see anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's all about LinkedIn for me. Everything is LinkedIn,
Yeah.
because I don't
Okay.
believe there's separation of personal and business. I believe it's all personal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, your link will be below the video
Awesome.
and people can reach out to you there and connect with you there and engage. And I really hope I'm very proud to know you, and I'm really really encourage you to keep going what you're doing, because I think it's very tremendous and it's a great value for people.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, when I first scheduled the call with you yesterday, I didn't see any of this coming, but it's been a beautiful experience, right? And just
Yeah.
leaving it open to where the conversation flows, you just never know.
Yeah, you never know, but you just allow it to flow. And I
Yeah.
guess that, my message is really just, we just have to listen to each other and be open-minded, and if you're going to be accusing somebody else being closed mind, okay, how well are you being,
Right. Again, it's the pointing and blaming, right? It's that always everybody else. So
Yeah. So anyway, so ask questions and engage with people, and that's the best you can do. And if they don't want to, well, that's not on you. That's because you've opened the door. And
yeah,
if they don't want to walk in the door, then that's their prerogative. But
definitely.
on we go. Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
thank,
Well, thank
thank
you,
you so much.
Michael. I so appreciate your time joining me today. And I know that we'll be having many more conversations, but
I'm looking
yeah. So if you
forward
want to
to
reach
it.
out to Michael, you can just find him on LinkedIn and have a great conversation.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. I appreciate
Hey,
it.
you're so welcome. Okay, we'll say goodbye for now and be kind to each other, because that's all we have. And we'll take care. Okay,
All right.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.